Atlanta, live from K.L.P studios. Ever wonder what went down behind the scenes of our top stories?
Say what?
Then tune into What Had Happened Was, the only radio station that takes you straight to the source. From coast to coast, tune in now as we dive deep into the stories, the drama, and the moments that shape the culture with
The swanky one, new K.L.P.
and
With your girl, Evelyn Letitia.
live, Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 radio stations, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
And then we can get this party on the road.
Get it?
We can get this party on the...
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we back one more time now. Hey,
What had happened was,
y'all.
What
what had happened was,
A hit podcast show, man.
We back in this building
Yes, we are.
with your girl, Evelyn Letitia. And your boy, you know him, Mr. K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas.
Yeah,
This
buddy.
episode of,
what had happened was,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we ready.
what had happened
Ladies
was,
and gentlemen, boys and girls. I ain't even got to do the button no more. That's all E right there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another exciting podcast here today. I am your gracious, humbled, highly favored podcast host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas here. And to my right, the wonderful,
You know what it is.
the talented.
Yeah.
She loves doing karaoke.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I see it. Evelyn Letitia's in the building.
Hi, lovelies.
Welcome to the What Had Happened Was podcast. Over 1,000 followers on Instagram. Strong, y'all. Y'all make that thing happen.
Pop that up.
And we still climbing.
Yeah.
And we still climbing.
Still going.
Now, before we get to the topics of conversation, ladies and gentlemen, Evelyn, how you been?
I have been fabulous.
Been good?
Yes, some things that, I've been working, like I told you, in theater and all the stuff, and that's kind of dwindling down. I got one more theater gig that's coming up for like a Elvis tribute show where I'm doing like stage management, but it's a little less intensive than stuff I usually do because he has this Elvis impersonator. He has his own band and everything, so it's not like I got to keep it with a whole bunch of actors or put a bunch of notes of like where people enter and exit and costume changes and none of that. So it's a little bit less, intensive. But they open next week on Thursday the 21st.
Oh, wow. It's coming up.
It's for 2 weekends, Thursday through Sunday, and so we're gonna be doing that. And then a little break from theater for a while. Just talked to a friend. There's some theater stuff coming up in October where I'll have an opportunity to potentially be on stage. He's producing it. He was like, "Hey, you want to be in this?" I was like, "Send me that information."
Yeah, of course. Why not?
Send me the information.
Yeah.
So might be on stage down here in Georgia. Coming sooner than later. But yeah, just trying to get stuff, projects on my end done and. All that good stuff, and I'm just enjoying life. The summer's coming to a close.
I gotta say, I love summer, but I cannot wait for fall. Fall's my favorite season.
So, you know what? In summer, even though we've had some very hot days, it has not seemed like the hot has been like the whole 2 months because we got a lot of rain too. So that's been kind of keeping it cool here and there. But yeah, that's what's been going on. I mean, what's been going on with you?
What had happened was, y'all, a lot going on with me. So last night, I got in the house very, very late. So I am part of this team for East Forsyth High School. And what we do is now I film their high school games.
Okay.
As kind of like a side gig, just something for K.L.P. Entertainment. And we stream it on the NFHS network. So that's like the high school sports of Netflix in a way. So if you follow any type of high school that's on the network, you can follow their games. And then we go and we set up our equipment. We're partnered with Huddle. So Huddle helps us with our streaming, and then we stream it out to the network for people to see it. And then people come to the live games and see it. So it was a great night. It was delayed by an hour and a half because of rain. So I got in by 1, and then we got in the studio around 10.
I came to the studio this morning and I said, Kenny was like, he had coffee. He was like, Hey, I'm still trying to wake up. I said, hold on, I'm the one that drove here.
She drove.
Negro, you live.
Yeah.
You here already.
Already,
right?
so.
But he was like, I got in late. I said, let me find out you been rendezvousing. Like,
So, and then I said to Evelyn, like, hey, I mean, I wish, but nah, it was work day.
let me find out you trying to pull on me. Like, you got rendezvousing late at night. You know, I'm a good old night owl now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I'm learning to not go to bed, except for last night, because last night is an exception, but I've been going to bed around like midnight, and I really got to stop doing that because it's not healthy. Yeah. But I just can't help it because I'm up working, I'm looking at something, or I'm reading something. And the past few days of part about what's been going on is me and my girl Scott Love. We've been working on this album. Okay. It's called "So We're in Love." It's on its way out, guys. Y'all just gotta stay tuned because I do got announcement after the album's out. Okay, we're gonna give them a little bit more, kind of like a deluxe. That's all I'm gonna say on that. That's all I can say on that.
Look, secret.
But we've been working on music, so I'm back into the music game. You guys know I've done music before. I do want to say to everybody real quick, thank y'all for voting for me for Rolling Stones. I placed fifth in the semifinals, so I didn't win, but
still, congratulations.
It was a very humbling experience. I did see a young lady from, I think they said she's from Boston. She won. So I really hope that that young lady does it out really well on stage in New York in this fall. And then that $50,000 that she won, kudos to her. I listened to some of her music because they list the winner and then some of her songs. I'm like, yeah, that's dope. Yeah. I wish I would have worked with her because that's dope.
But you said something that I want to expound on. You talked about, you had to stop getting in bed at midnight. Like you tried to do better. You know what? There was a time I was like, okay, for me to get a certain amount of hours, I need to be in bed by 11:30. The compromise I made with myself was no matter what time I go to bed, even if it's 2 a.m., you got to sleep at least 6.5 hours. Yeah. Right? So, because what would happen was I would be out late working on a gig or doing something. Yeah. And I was trying to force myself to go to bed at 11:30. Well, if I don't rap until midnight, that's not going to happen. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Or if I do get home right at 11:30, I still got time. I have to wind down, you know. So I just made a compromise myself. No matter what time I go to bed, I got to get at least 6 hours. Most time, 6.5 hours, but most time I get 8. Yeah. So I would say do that. That would take some of the pressure off of you trying to make it in bed every night by midnight. Because like you said, as creators, we're often up and still, working and things like that.
And our minds are working 100 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
Giving yourself the adequate time to really go into a deep sleep and, things like that. That's the compromise for me. So no matter because there's some nights I may get in bed at 9:30, and there's other nights I may be in the bed at 2 a.m. But I try to make sure I get at least 6.5 hours of sleep, and then I'm well rested before I get up and start my day the next day. Right. So that's the compromise I've made. And there's something else I didn't mention. I think I told you with fitness, I'm still doing weightlifting. She's still swole. You still jiggling a little bit, but it's tightening up. But I got back into Muay Thai, kickboxing. I started doing it back in 2021. Yeah, I think in 2021. Did it for a few months. Had a private instructor. He would come to my house because he actually have competed before, and we'd do pad work and stuff like that. So I got a lot of the basics down. But then life started life, and I got kind of out of it. But this was my 4th week this week. Yeah. So I got back into it recently, and this is different this time around because not only did I kind of have some of the basics down, I was able to refresh on those, but now I actually get to spar with people and have somebody like I can clench and punch and throw.
I bet I be here. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom.
Let me tell you something. I've already noticed a difference from week 1 to now because since 2021, of course, I got in a car accident and I've been dealing with my knees and back since then and stuff like that. But my very first week of class, ooh, baby, the roundhouse kicks, trying to get my hips to open up, square up the way I wanted to, and my balance was all. This week was much better, and like over the past 4 weeks, I can feel my core opening up, really strengthening. Because in Muay Thai, you do a lot of lean backs, like when you punch, you leaning back, or you going up, So there's a lot of core work here to keep your body in this box angle and turning. Yeah. So it's been a fun thing. You know?
Yeah, fitness been good. I don't know if you've been watching my videos.
I be watching,
but yeah, I'm looking.
I'm like,
looking
okay,
different.
okay, hamstrings.
Yeah, them hamstrings.
Okay, quads.
The quads, the glutes.
He be having them little hoochie daddy shorts on.
Yeah, let me tell you something, ladies.
Popping. I'm like, okay.
Because Crutch got this competition. It's the booty competition, and it's for the ladies, right?
Booty,
but Crutch,
rocking
men
everywhere.
can do that too, you know. Just saying. But no, I've been looking the very, very best this week. Minus the soreness, 'cause besides me being sleepy, I'm really sore. My body's just really is like cranking up just a little bit because I've been going hard. And everybody at the gym would say that I've been very consistent. I'm in there almost every day. It's just I've looked greater than I ever looked before. And it's only gonna get even tighter and swoller. And I think some people are starting to notice.
Okay.
You know, some of the ladies. There's this one girl
He gonna be
in particular.
rendezvousing y'all.
There's this one girl that's at the gym that just got me wondering. You know, you ever just meet somebody, or not really meet, but you see somebody that you know in the gym because they're in there a lot too, and you're just like, oh, you're so interesting. I want to know your name. Like, I want to know what you do.
Have you not tried to say hello?
I'm scared
Child.
because the fear of being a creep in the gym for men. That trend is there.
Yeah.
So I'm scared.
Sometimes I think it's all about how you approach somebody in the gym.
Yeah.
Like, one thing you don't do to a woman in the gym is assume she don't know what she's doing and you come up and try to mansplain
Yeah,
stuff.
I wouldn't do that.
Look, like I tell you, I've been an athlete my entire life. So whether you think I have a gym body or not right now does not dictate that I know how to work out. I do, right? It's just a matter of being consistent. I'm back in it now. I'm really being consistent. But I hate when men walk up to me and I'm like putting weights on or something, and like, oh, you know what you're doing with that? Or you know you got to do this and make sure you hold your back and arc it just. And I'm just like, bruh, could you have asked me?
Yeah.
Or like, you just come up and assume, and like, even if you ask me, you know what you're doing with that? Before I can even say, yeah, you already
like,
mansplaining. That's a quick
this
turn
how you do it.
off.
Like,
That's a quick turn off for me. Or I'm in the middle of a set. You see me in the middle of a set.
Yeah.
You don't wait until I like finish my set. You see me in the middle of it and you come up trying to talk to me. I'm like, bruh.
Especially when you listen to music and you're in that world.
Like I'm focusing and here you come. How many more sets you got? Nigga, you don't see me.
You don't see me. Get your
Right? So a lot of times it's all about the approach first. Then when you do approach, like have some kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Purpose for the approach. Don't interrupt me just to interrupt me. Right. Usually when I walk up to guys, because I do that to guys in the gym. Like, you know, I walk up, I say, okay, I see you, big swole. Like, how much you lifting? Right, you know? Like, so it's like a little icebreaker.
Yeah, like a playful banter.
Because one thing about people in the gym, people love like when other people point out their progress.
Oh, I love that.
Right?
Oh, I love that.
So that's an easy icebreaker. Yeah. Now, as a man, don't walk up to him like, okay, I see you ass. Like, don't do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
because some dudes in my gym do that. I mean,
but
somewhat.
There's a way. There's a way to approach without being creepy. What I will say this though. If this is somebody that you're interested in,
I am.
She will never know that you're interested unless you at least say hello.
Well, let me tell you.
It could be a past, like, you know, hey, how you doing today?
So I remember this happened 2 days ago.
Okay.
I know because I'm in there, the free weights doing my thing. Here she come, and I'm in my music, and then she didn't get in my way, but she just was like, she was getting like the little yoga thing, and I was right there. I was like, oh, excuse me, I didn't see you. And she gave me, we smiled. She smiled. I smiled back. She smiled back. She looked down. She looked up. I looked down. I didn't know what else to say. Hopefully I didn't smile like creepily, but I was just like, hey, no, you good.
Things that, I'm not trying to be the one to speak for all women, but I could say with confidence, most women, we like people who are confident. Not arrogant, but confident.
Yeah.
So if y'all want to make eye contact, smile and wave, but don't be like, because I'm like, okay, baby, you too shy for me. Like,
I look, but
somebody that's confident, somebody that's purposeful, like not arrogant, but they have it again. Oh, what you working out today? Just a little short conversation. I'm
gonna try that this week, see if it works.
Yeah, but a lot of it is you have to really feel it out. That feeling of knowing when something going too long, like you don't want to hold nobody. But like take those like body cue, like people forget that language is just not spoken.
Right.
It's also your body language. That's stuff you got to be attentive to.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of times when men and women are talking nowadays, communication is happening, but it's being missed.
Yeah, it is.
We're not wired nowadays to really talk to one another and really read body language because everything's so quick and people used to this internet stuff or texting where you have no real dialogue going on or interaction, so you miss those like nonverbal cues. But yeah, I would say just say hello,
just go for it, because I mean, and I remember because I smiled because she was like I was listening to music, she said sorry, I'm like, no, you're good, like you're not in my way. Then she smiled, and then I smiled. Yeah. And then I looked down because I didn't want to like stare at her for too long. Cause I mean, she had a nice little cute outfit on. So it's just like, okay, let me not stare at her too long because then now that could be creepy.
Yeah.
Right? So that's when I sort of looked down at my weights to see, okay, wait. And then she looked down, and then I looked up. And then she looked up, we smiled again. Like, oh.
Because, one of the things right now, if you're both in the gym.
Yeah.
That's one common factor y'all have, right?
Yeah.
That's an icebreaker. That's an icebreaker. So how long have you been on your fitness? Hey, saw you here the other week. So how long you been on your fitness journey?
I'm gonna try that.
I'm gonna try
it.
People make talking to people sometimes so complicated. And I understand that everybody's level of confidence is different.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be this elaborate thing. No one's asking you about how many kids you got, what job you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all are in the same place where y'all have a common interest. That's your icebreaker.
Yeah.
So are you on a health journey? How long have you been working out? And then, and ask those open-ended questions so that conversation can flow. That's another thing. People will ask a closed-ended question that requires one answer, and then when the person responds to that one answer, then y'all just standing there looking at each other.
Yeah.
It's like...
One thing I do too, and I might try this, like if I see a girl that I'm interested in and she's doing a certain workout, sometimes I ask, excuse me, miss, I didn't want to disturb you, but I saw you was doing this exercise. Does that really help with your core, losing your waist there? How do you do that? And can you sort of show me so I know, does that work? And then that kind of, sometimes it's like a hit or miss.
That's a great segue. That's a great way in because... Again, people love to be complimented on their progress, and also people love to teach about what they're doing. Yeah. Especially if they've been doing it a while, people love to have those kind of conversations. I remember, like I said, one day I was at the squat rack, and this was in Planet Fitness, and then you know how they have several ones right beside each other, and there was a guy next to me. And he was big and swole. He looked like he did competitive, bodybuilding. And I was doing I had the bench I had pulled up and I was doing bench presses. And then I was just dancing because the mirror's right here in front of us.
That's one thing I do.
So I was sitting after I finished my rep. I was sitting in front of the mirror and my music was pop, and I was pop. And I opened my eyes and I saw him looking at me and I said,
I like what I see.
And then I looked up. I said, don't mind me. I be having a good time. He said, I can tell. I said, well, you big swole. What you over there lifting like? So we just talking, and then we get to talking, and he goes on to tell me, I said, do you do professional bodybuilding? He's like, yeah, I have, and I'm getting back into it. He told me he had went through cancer and everything, and ended up showing me pictures of how little he got. You would have never thought this man had cancer before, and how big and swole he had gotten himself back up in the last 2.5 years. And before I know it, we're talking about fitness and all kinds of stuff. And 40 minutes have passed.
That is great.
And neither one of us. That is great. There was no body language of, okay, you wasting my time or you wasting my time. But we were just talking about fitness and really, and then eventually I said, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to keep you from your workout. He said, no, you're good. I was enjoying the conversation. I said, okay. I said, well, do you want to stay in touch with it? You got Instagram, and we exchange, so we follow each other on there and everything. I haven't seen him back, because I think we keep missing each other, but we are connected online and stuff like that. So I'll see his stuff, I'll like it and all that kind of stuff. He'll like my stuff. Aww. But like sometimes conversation is just that, like general. I just happened to open my eyes and he saw me jamming. I've had people come tap me on my shoulder in the gym because I be in my own world dancing and stuff. And I had a lady come tap me one time. She said, I just want to tell you, I was going to leave like 30 minutes ago. She said, but I saw you enjoying your workout. So she said that really gave me a boost to like keep going.
Oh,
and so like,
that's nice.
Yeah, but yeah, you better talk. Look, that might be
Look,
future.
short,
Might be future wifey. You sit here playing.
And then because she's short with it too, and it's just like her face says that she might be like mid-20s, maybe 30s, right? Mm-hmm. But then she's short. It's like, okay, how old are you? Because I mean, some of these young girls be looking like 30, but you turn out that they're 16. You're like, whoa, okay. Yeah,
which is that's kind of ironic because a lot of these Gen Zs that I see, they do be looking older. But sometimes I think it comes down to all the makeup. Like a lot of them, not all, but a lot of the ones I see, there's a lot of makeup and eyelashes, and so it makes them look older. Meanwhile, millennial women, who they may wear makeup and stuff too, but I don't know. I see a lot of millennial women that look younger than the Gen Zs that I be seeing. Even with me, I look older when I put on eyelashes and makeup and stuff, but without it, people think I'm like 28. I'm like, baby, no, I'm 38. No. They're like, what? You gonna be what? I said, yeah.
When I was in production last night, shout out to Connor Jones, because Connor Jones, he's a really good dude. Because we get contracted with Mahoney Media, and we were talking because we were in delay, and he was like, yeah, how old are you? I was like, oh, buddy, I'm 29. Yeah. It's like, oh, wow, really? I was like, yeah. Oh, well, I'm 21. I'm like, whoa, yeah. I'm not a college kid. I ain't one of these high schoolers now. I'm grown, bro.
Yeah, there's some 20-year-olds there's some 20-somethings who told me their age.
Yeah.
I had already like kind of figured out that they are younger based on the conversation we have, or if I bring up something that's like time specific, and they have no clue who or what I'm talking about. I was like, yeah, this person young, because ain't no way you don't know who that is, even if you don't listen to their music or see their movie. If the fact that you've never even heard this person, and this person is somebody that I know a bunch of millennials. No, I'm like, yeah, they're a little younger than I think, or either their conversation. And we're talking about relationships or family or kids, and their conversation seems very mature or ignorant, meaning they haven't had those types of experience in a certain way. Like, I think they're a little younger. By the time they tell me their age, I was like, I knew it. I knew you
were young. I knew it. I'm gonna try today. Maybe I'm going to gym tomorrow. I maybe see her tomorrow. I'm gonna just try to. Because the exercise she does, like, I know how to do that, but like I'm gonna act like I don't know. So I can just to fill her out, to have that conversation, say, hi, oh, by the way, my name's Kennedy. Yeah. What's your name? And then just kind of talk, have a banter, and then just kind of read the room, and then like, okay.
Even similar, hey, hi, I'm meant to introduce myself last week, but totally slipped my mind. I'm sorry about that. How long you been on your fitness journey? Like, you don't have to lie about not knowing how to do something. Yeah. But just like I said, how long you on a fitness journey, or you just working out for... I
saw you doing this one exercise where it helped your chest and your core. How do you do it? I'm trying to working on my core. Yeah. So I might get a conversation. I might get slapped. Yeah. If it's a success, I'm gonna text you and say, see how.
Now, if she slap you, you better
call it
file some charges.
I mean, I'll file some charges. But if she's like, I just don't want to talk, I'm like, all right, back off.
And I'm not one of these people when people are like, oh, dude shouldn't file charges. If a woman put her hands on you, file them charges. Yeah. Because I don't play that whole double standard. Oh, well, I'm a man, or he a man. Why he filing charges? Yeah. You should keep your hands to yourself. Hopefully. I would tell any of my nephews, any of my homeboys, like, no, ain't nobody should be putting their hands on you, because if it was the opposite way around and you slapped a woman, you're going to jail. Best believe.
Yeah. Hopefully she like chocolate. Yeah, she a white girl too. I forgot to mention that part.
You skipped over a whole big.
I did. I get nervous because my younger brother, but my older brother Alex, and my dad, like, all right, Lucas, you better watch these white girls. Like, all right, I get it.
We know what the history says.
Yes. So you mentioned, I'm gonna try that. Yeah. I'll let y'all know how it goes.
Just know we know what the history says.
We know.
Be careful. That's all we saying.
The one thing that people are being careful about too. This is what's going on.
What had happened was...
Okay.
Have you heard of this trend that's been on TikTok lately?
What trend?
Hashtag.
CITI, City Trends, fashion for life.
I remember City Trends. I remember. See, look, what you just said, if you seen it to somebody and they don't know what that is, they're young.
Child.
And they're young.
Everybody know that CITI, City Trends is fashion for less.
Da-na-na-na. Hashtag
Okay.
child free.
Child free.
So this thing's been going on TikTok, and I wanted to chime in on this one too because I wanted to get your take on it, and I wanted to kind of give my take from sort of a male's point of view. But I've been seeing it on TikTok lately for the ladies out there that they're saying they're on this banter of hashtag child free, where some of the ladies that I've seen, they're either in their mid-20s, early 30s, even late 30s. Even I seen about 3 videos in people in their early 40s. Which is
all millennials, the ages that you're seeing right now. Yeah.
They say that having no kids is a flex. And the reason why they say that is because they're responding to one TikToker that said that having kids is the flex. And I wanted to get your take on that because in my humble opinion, I've talked about it multiple times. I do think having no kids is a flex right now. Simply because there's quite a few factors. Things are expensive, right? Groceries, Pampers, water. I did a statistical research about 2 years ago for one of the classes I did for my master's degree that it costs $300,000 to raise a kid from the womb to kindergarten to grade school up into college, right? So that's 18 years of you dedicating your life to this child. And I have a lot of friends, a lot of coworkers, a lot of friends who are young parents that are either in their mid-20s. I've got one friend he's in his 30s, right? And for him, I could tell that he works hard. He has a wife, but he has 3 girls. I can tell that he had some stressful moments. He looked dog tired now than what I've seen him the first go around a few years ago, right? And I have friends in their mid-20s that they're just stressed. They're tired. They're aggravated. And I say this. Let me get my sister. Going to the grocery store and I hear kids screaming and kicking. Boy, howdy, that annoys the living out of me. That's why I say, when I say to, my family members and parents, like, I don't want kids, because that right there would drive me nuts seeing that. Mommy, daddy. That would annoy the living crap out of me.
I was getting groceries out of Aldi.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it was Thursday, and I was at the back of the store.
Yeah.
And I just heard this kid screaming.
Temper.
And I kept thinking, okay, surely this is gonna stop in the next 30 seconds. 5 minutes later, the screaming is still, this is when I noticed it was a pattern of screaming. So it wasn't like somebody was bothering this child or something like that. It was just like a, like they was trying to hear this scream over and over. And so I was like, now I know y'all hear that. And so I'm thinking, okay, maybe they about to leave. I get to the counter to pay for my stuff, and I come. It's a man, woman, and the child is in the buggy. And the child is just screaming. And the parents are doing nothing. And I said, I know darn well. Like, I'm talking out loud, but I said, I know darn well. And like, I'm looking at this child because people will argue that, well, maybe the child was autistic or stuff like that. Maybe so. And I'm not going to go by look because people say, well, they don't look autistic. But even so, like the mom was doing nothing to try to at least even calm the child down or redirect. When I said nothing, was doing nothing. The dad was doing nothing.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm just like, thank God y'all are checking out about to leave these people's stove, because this child has been screaming at the top of their lungs for the last 10 minutes at this point. And I was like, I looked, because at Aldi, when you're doing a little self-checkout, like most of them, the camera's right there.
Right.
And I looked at that camera, I said, and this is birth control. Somebody in the back will be watching me on camera. And this is birth control.
Yeah.
Cause baby, I feel there be so many times I be wanting to walk up to people's kids when they don't be disciplining them. And I be wanting, sit down. Didn't your mama tell you sit down?
Yes.
I be wanting to. Oh,
I be wanting to do that too, but I mean, you can't in reality. But
you can, but then you don't know what type of parent you're gonna get. Are you gonna get the parent that, their child sit down and they look at you like, thank you? Or are you gonna get the parent that is not doing anything responsible to try to keep this child in check, and they go, you don't talk to my child, like, you know, you don't know which one you're gonna get.
You don't know.
Because right now I'm about to beat you and your child. Like, y'all doing too much. That's some birth control. When I'm shopping and I hear kids screaming bloody murder or running around or doing, I said, "Ooh, thank you, Lord."
Thank God.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
As far as it being a flex, and I don't know if you was finished. You go ahead, because I don't want to cut you off.
Oh, I think that was pretty well. Let's see. I think that was pretty much the gist of it. I guess I was just saying that, I say to a lot of people out there, if you are in your 30s, and I had a conversation with my sister too, and yes, 29, young, right? We're all young in reality, right? Yeah. I don't want to say that, we're now old because we're now touching our 30s. No, we're very young.
Women are still having children in 50s now, so.
I have come to the conclusion, because everybody says this, coworkers tell me, oh, you're 29, you don't know what you want yet. Yes, I do. I'm grown. I do know what I want. At the age of 29, I know that if I get annoyed by kids screaming, and plus I'm very, very selfish. Not selfish in the mean way, but like, I want all my things to myself. I want my house super duper clean. My car is not filled with crackers and chips and baby strollers in the back. Like, I'm very selfish to that point where I'm a very neat freak. I like my things tidy. I have extreme OCD too. So like, that stuff would annoy the living crap out of me too, because I went to some friends' car when we were driving for work, and they was like, yeah, sorry, we had the kids last night and we took them out. And I'm like, damn, this looks disgusting. Yeah. Like, I just don't. Kids just like, ugh, it's an ick for me. Yeah. So when I say that to TikTok, and I can chime in on that conversation, I do think having no kids is a flex, because, you're going through all of these things, and it's part of it. Some of these people on TikTok, I would say that they have some sort of trauma, right? And again, I love my parents, but we can't say that we were the perfect family. I can't say that, because we've had our troubles. We had our trauma. These things I won't name on a public broadcast, but we've had our moments. And I wouldn't want to bring a child into my trauma, because honestly, and I tell the audience, I need to go to therapy myself, right? I need therapy help myself before I can have kids. I need the world to be better, right? Guys, not to get political, but economy's not going to get better. That's just the harsh reality of it right now. Why would I bring a kid into a very tough economy in America where there is people that are struggling to buy Pampers because it's so expensive, right? And there's the study for U.S. politics where the millennial and Gen Z range, the birth rate is declining. Duh, because it's inexpensive. It's so expensive. You can't afford anything. So that's why that's sort of my take on it. From sort of a I would say from a male's point of view, I just like the peace and quiet. My house is peace and quiet. My car is peace and quiet. I can go to the gym. Yesterday, we talked about the gym, right? I got up at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then I was on the way at 11 o'clock to the gym on a Thursday. A lot of people with kids, they're in an office somewhere. They're clocked in somewhere. They're taking their kids to school. They're dropping them off, getting ready for that clock in. Me? Because we all work, but I was in the car heading to the gym, stress free, and I could do that because I don't have any kids. Yeah. I don't have any other mouths to feed but my own, right? So that's why I say no kids for me is a flex.
So I think for both sides, it's a flex based off of what your values are.
Right.
If you value having kids and family and legacy of that type, degree, then it's your flex. If you say I don't have kids, like I'm enjoying like how you said, then that's a flex. The lines that are crossed is when you have people that have kids and they look down on people who don't have kids and say things like, you you'll never know what it feels to be fulfilled because you don't have children. People have said that to me. Or, you just saying it because you don't have a family. Like, when you get old, who gonna take care of you? I'm like, baby, as if I ain't putting money to the side.
Yeah.
Or, like, I ain't got nieces and nephews who I would trust or put, because, and that's the thing, me working in healthcare and going to people's homes and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I see that dynamic. I see a lot of people who are elderly that never had kids, but they're taken care of. Either they set money aside themselves, or they have other family members that are taking care of them, that they've made, executive over their estates and stuff like that. That's taking care of them. So that's the problem for me. Or the same thing is with people who don't have kids, to speak negatively of people who do have kids. Right. That's where the lines are crossed for me. If it's a flex for you, for whatever reason, whether you have them or not, let that be it. You don't have to be demeaning to the opposite side.
Yeah, that's true.
For me, I'm like you. I can't. And I was glad that you brought this topic up, because I've been asked this question 4 times this week.
Oh, wow.
Just in my job.
Wow.
Because a lot of times when I'm talking to people, men, women, especially the older population, like, you're a beautiful young lady. Is you married? You got kids? And I'm like, no, and I'm like, I'm over the wanting to have kids. Like, I've been literally taking care of kids since I was 8, like cousins, babysitting, and all kinds of stuff. And I keep kids overnight. Like, I got nieces and nephews now. It's like, so kids have always been a part of my life. So I don't feel like if I don't have kids, I'm losing out on something. It's not a pressing issue for me. At one point when I was married and we were actively trying, and that was something, then yes. But then as soon as that situation was turning toxic and dysfunctional, and there's a major incident that happened that left me with PTSD for a good while.
The trauma.
Because all I could think was, if I had kids right now, the level of trauma we would be putting them through. That was like the level of dysfunction we were putting through, and that coming up through dysfunction and trauma, that's something I never want for any child that would come of me. So I was like, I would never want to do that. But like you said, it's expensive raising kids. And I'm going to be honest, the majority of the people I know or come across who have kids, they will not say this publicly, but they have told me privately, I love my kids, but if I had to do it over again, I would not have had children.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Oh,
You'll be so amazed at the amount of people who have kids feel that way. They will never say it publicly, but privately, those conversations are being had. Because and even though you try to teach your children how to be, and you try to raise them well and everything like that, they still got to go into the world and be imprinted upon, right? So they're still going to be, the environment is going to be teaching them things that maybe you never meant for them to go down this path. I've come across so many people in this profession, mothers and fathers, who have children that are strung out on drugs. They're at rock bottom, and the parents are going through it. Because you think that when you have kids, you're going to raise them well, and you'll get to a point where they become, these very successful products of society, and they're going to go on and have grandchildren. But what happens when things like substance abuse is introduced, or they have mental health issues that are introduced, or disabilities that you have to be their caregiver for their entire life? So your level of thinking of, I'm going to have this quote-unquote normal child, that's going to have these abilities to do all these things you dreamt for them, and that changes. These are things that are being talked about privately, but rarely publicly. And so I'm like, I love children. I volunteer all the time. I keep children. I'm auntie and TT to so many kids, and my oldest niece that I ever non-biologically that I've changed her diaper, her 2 younger sister diaper. All 3 have graduated from high school now. She's 25 now.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm just like, I've been in this game for a minute, but I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. And so if that's a flex for me, it's a flex.
Yeah.
Because I'm like you.
Huge flex.
I love getting my nieces, but it's very different when I have them at my house or with me. I sleep very differently. Like, when I'm alone, boy, the deep sleep peacefulness I have. But when I have children in the house or around, I can't. It's like my heart and spirit is in constant protective worry mode.
Yeah.
And with the state of how our, government and all this kind of stuff is going on right now, it's like, it's one thing when shit hit the fan. Excuse my French. When it hit the fan, for me to only have to look out for me is one thing.
Yeah.
But imagine right now all the parents who are having to look out for their kids in a way that now you got to combat with a government that's trying to make consent the age of 14.
Yeah.
That young girls will be married off at 14. That children at 14 committing crimes will be tried as an adult.
Yeah.
Like, you got to think about that. You got to combat with school shootings. You came to send your child to school and feel like they're safe. I saw a whole TikTok where a mother was talking about she doesn't buy her children any light up shoes because if there's a school shooter, she wants her children to be able to hide and not be found out.
That's smart.
She told her children that if the fire alarm is pulled, they have to line up to get in the back of the line because a lot of times these school shooters, they may pull the fire alarm just to bring everybody out and they're shooting down the first few people that comes out the doors.
Yeah.
She's telling them things like that and it's like, I don't think I can live with that. Having to care for my babies. I already know how I feel about my nieces and nephews. Like, I told somebody the other day, you heard one of my nieces and nephews, baby, go ahead and prepare a cell for me. Go ahead and have cell block E. That's what I'm gonna be. It's gonna be named after me. Cell block E. Put my favorite snacks in there. Have me some sunflower seeds, some popcorn. Go ahead and make it comfortable because I'm gonna be there a minute. I'm gonna be there a minute, right? So I can only imagine if it's my children.
Right.
So that's how I feel about it. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything if I don't have kids. If for some reason in this life, I come across a partner and we decide that having children is going to make our lives better than what we already are, I'm open to it, right?
That's the one thing that kind of scares me too. Like meeting that partner and I've made a firm decision like, no, I'm team no kids. But then what if she wants kids? But then what if that's the one that I love? It's like, damn. And
that's the thing. Kids should not be a bargaining chip. And the problem is so many people are out here having sex. Yeah. And the possibility of conception is an afterthought. And then when somebody pregnant, now y'all in panic mode. I'm like, where was this talk beforehand? I have never slept with anybody without thinking this person could possibly be the father of my child. Yeah. I have never.
It's like for me, I want the relationship, but I don't want the kids. I want to see each other, but I want my own space too.
But that's the communication you have to have up front. Yeah. And like I'm saying, a lot of these people are not having these conversations up front as it pertains to kids. We just know, ooh, you make me feel good. You make my body feel good. Yeah. I get a tingling sensation when you touch me. You're not talking about kids, and then once kids are introduced, now you're like, oh, wait, well, this ain't what I wanted. You ain't did nothing to prevent it. Yeah. And even with condoms and birth control, unless you are 100% abstinent, everything you do can lead to a child being here. Whoops. I've met people in the healthcare profession who have told me, oh, well, we had this baby and I was on birth control. Or we had this baby, I was on birth control and we used condoms. We had this, I was told I couldn't have children and we had this baby. So if you have sex, it's a possibility. But like for me to be open to it, like I said, it would have to be the right partner. We decide that having a child will benefit our life greatly. We have to be in a financial space where
them financials, man.
We have an abundance of overflow. And then with me in this entertainment business that I love right now, I don't see me stopping that. So for me to have a child would mean I would have to have a partner that's either retired or has a job that they can move with me like how I move. Right. Or we can afford to have a nanny on the road with us. Yeah. Because I'm not going to leave my baby for months at a time either. Yeah. Some people do it. I just know I couldn't be that person. No. And I like to get up and go and do it. It's a whole lot going on.
It's a lot. And I'm like that too. Like the different podcast shows and making movies and other, I've got other ambitions and other ideas and other things I want to accomplish first before even considering the thought of potentially having kids. Yeah. It's like, I want to be still doing podcasting, still filming, running an organization. I'm getting my doctorate in 2027, right? There's things I want to achieve myself first before settling down and doing all that. And I want to buy, another new house, but I want that to myself.
Yeah.
At least the selfish part of me a little bit. Like, I want it to myself. I don't want to share it with anything. And I'll say this. When you got some money and you have kids, that money ain't your money no more. That money gone. That's out the window, right? So that's what scares me, because it's like, I love money too much to just like give it away to kids and take care of it. I want it. I want some toys for myself.
So if you had a good 60 million
to myself.
There you go.
To my foundation, right? Give back to the community for sure. But
as long as you
to
know.
Myself.
And I think that's the problem. Some people won't admit that they use kids as an accessory. Yeah. Like, even for the school, going back to schools and stuff like that, all these parents putting their kids with their first day, first week outfits and stuff like that. And I'm looking at some of these kindergarten and first graders.
Gucci, Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, I'm like y'all do know these children go outside and play recess. And me, when I was in high school, my junior and senior year, I was a teacher cadet. So I worked with preschool age kids, kindergarten, and I also did PE. These kids have snotty noses. They go outside. They get filthy dirty. They playing. Why? Because they're kids. You sending them to school with rope chains and, they fresh forces and all this stuff. Like, you got them looking like little accessories. Yeah.
But my baby gonna have some Air Force Ones on his feet.
And guess what them kids be doing there on the playground? They be digging mud holes with their shoes and, rolling in the leaves and everything else. These kids are, like, some parents use their kids as an accessory. And the thing about accessory is, they're cute as toddlers and stuff, but the moment they start talking and walking and running and growing, now you frustrated with them. Like, quit using kids as an accessory, and some people do that. If it don't, the people watching this, if that's not you, then it's not you. But if I step on your toes, say ouch, and quit treating them like an accessory, like I just said.
I want Mike Jr. He gonna have some Nikes from Jordans. It cost me about $600, but hey.
And then it's crazy that even with the school system, you will spend all this money on these accessories and accessorizing your child, but when it comes to the education, you won't spend it on a tutor.
That. Or school supplies.
We forget about that. Hold on, where's mine? There are so many parents who will and complain about school supplies and the list that they got to get for these kids to go to school, but will have them in $500-$600 outfits. Damn. But you mad because you had to get some copy paper for the classroom. Yeah. That cost $2. Make it make sense.
Pencils are 50 cents at Walmart. Walmart know what they doing.
Make it make sense.
It don't. We don't make sense.
Why we got to have 2 and 3 folders? Why they got to have 5 pair of Jordans?
Yeah. Wait. I got a button for that. What's the button? Say it one more time.
Why they got to have 5 pair of Jordans?
Shots fired.
But you mad that you got to get 2 folders.
Shots fired. That's it?
And now you mad because I'm over here spending my money on myself.
Shots fired.
And you trying to make me feel bad because I ain't got no kids. If you don't go sit down somewhere.
But yeah, that was the latest trend, guys. Comment below too, because we like to see the comments, because we do our snippets and we post them on Instagram. So please chime in below, because we want to know what's going on for that as well.
But there's one more thing that we had to talk about. The school system.
School, yeah. Speaking of schools,
public schools.
This is what's going on, and I read this, and look, strange times we live in. Yeah. So Ohio provides buses for private school students. Public school kids must find their own way. Let me read a little bit more context here. This source is from World Star. We like to get some stuff from World Star. They got some good stuff. So according to World Star, to the records in the reports, about 2,000 Dayton, Ohio school students won't have school buses. Now, this was this past week. So by the time we upload this episode, it would have been past. But a shortage of drivers and buses, combined with a threat of fines, have forced public school districts in Dayton, Ohio, and across the Ohio state to prioritize private and charter school students, leaving their own students that's in public school behind. And I read about this, and this is what I think is happening. And it sucks because we both work in education of some sort. And this makes me sad to hear about this, simply because teachers and school bus drivers dealing with the argument of not wanting to buy school supplies, down to somebody's bad kids out there that they don't know how to teach or train, have home training for their kids on these buses. These teachers and bus drivers and lunch ladies and janitors, anybody in the education system, they're saying, bump this.
Yeah.
This ain't worth it. Leaving the shortage of school bus drivers and teachers. Let me tell you, teachers are fed up, right? Teachers are saying, why did I get this degree in teaching if this is what the outcome is? I'm going to go do TikTok videos, and it's not a slack on TikTok videos because people make money. But I'm going to go do TikTok. I'm going to do something else. I'm done with education. And that worries me because if we ain't got no teachers, y'all going to have to teach your babies something.
Well, we saw how that worked out for parents during quarantine.
Yeah. And it wasn't
the way
fun.
some of y'all complained about how to help your babies with homework and setting up their Zoom, y'all should be thankful these teachers still want to teach.
Yes.
Because some of y'all acted a plum fool.
Plum fool.
I mean, just a plum fool. Showed y'all entire, like, I had to get that sense of quick.
Yeah, you were like, where is it?
Come on now. Showed y'all entire.
And it goes to show you, it is the public schools that are, now the private schools, private, people pay a lot of money. I was in private school. The school I went to, I wouldn't recommend, but I went to private school. It's expensive, but parents will pay their kids for private school.
Yeah.
And it sucks because school bus drivers of public schools and the district of public schools are saying, well, we'll forget about the people that get the free education. Let's cater to the people that actually pay money. Mm-hmm. That is crazy in my eyes because it's like you're prioritizing the big wigs, the money people, the kids with the parents who can afford their kids to go to private school.
Yeah.
Not every parent can afford to go to private school.
And most of them that can afford to send their kids to private school can also afford a car service.
That too. Now, when I was in private school, they didn't have a bus service. We had to drive to the private school.
Yeah.
We didn't have it. But I just think it just kind of sucks because now it's more things that are getting taken away from public schools.
This is what's going to happen. Well, let me say this first of all. Mm-hmm. I have no problem with private schools and charter schools having these buses. Mm-hmm. As long as this is not money used from taxpayers that's supposed to be going to public schools.
That is a good point.
Now, if this is public school money that's being reallocated to send these buses to charter and private schools, I have a huge problem with that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because these kids' parents at these public schools are paying taxes. Yeah. That includes school tax. Mm-hmm. So if that money is then being used for private and charter schools, that's where I have a problem. If not, if these are privately owned bus companies that go into these charter, then I have no problem with it. Mm-hmm. But if it's a public resource that's being used for these schools, no, I have a huge problem. And I'm going to tell you what's going to eventually happen. Our education, preschool through 12th grade has mainly been free for Americans.
For a while.
Yeah. I remember going to college and doing like a mission trip. I remember I went to Dominican Republic.
Hey.
And there was an organization called Solid Rock International that I ended up sponsoring this young boy. He was in about 10th grade for 2 years. Because they didn't have a public school system. Yeah. Your kids got sent. They had like Christian schools, but you had to pay or be sponsored to go there. So I sponsored him for 2 years until he graduated. He would write me letters in Spanish.
That's sweet.
A translator would translate on the back, but I, would read his letters. And we took pictures together before I left and everything. And then I ended up sponsoring another little boy after he graduated. This little boy, I think, was like fifth. He was either kindergarten or 5th grade. I just remember the number 5. But I sponsored him up until I hit some hard times with myself. Like, hey, I got to back up now. Yeah. I got to redo some stuff. But that also, when I was working in one of the hospitals, I had a friend who was from Kenya. And she told me, she was like, I remember, she's like, y'all do not understand. You have it so blessing over here because we don't have school system free like this. She said I had to go to And forgive me if I'm not. This is how she sounds to me. So if it's not,
Evelyn's an actress, so I mean it's custom to her.
If it's not a strict Kenyan accent for those Kenyans who are listening, this is how my friend sounded to me. But she was like, when I was a kid, I went to a boarding school that my parents had to pay for. Like she was, talking about how they didn't have a free education from preschool up to her senior year. She's like, my parents had to sponsor, and I had to get a scholarship to get that type of education. That's where we're heading in the United States. Yeah, that's why they're doing all these private and charter schools, because also your population, the government controls more people that are more ignorant. So we can keep them uneducated. We can keep them voting against their interests.
Yep.
We can keep them as sheep.
Yep.
That won't buck up against the system. That's where we're headed. And so for any parent that has kids in public school, you see what they're doing. You see that they're already stripping away all of our history, that they're stripping away funds. You better find some other parents who are interested in homeschooling. Y'all find a curriculum to homeschool your children and everything they need. Because there's some great homeschooling programs that kids are learning at a faster rate than public school kids anyway. So, but that's where we're heading.
Yeah, I would say that too.
They're trying to eradicate the public school system.
Yep, I think so too. And I think to all the parents who give teachers slack, stop. Because number one, this school is not a free daycare, right? It's the teacher's job is to help teach your kids to the next level, to potentially have the idea of going to college, to potentially have an idea to have that job. Now, I get it with the job market, that's tough, right? People who got degrees upon degrees, who still looking for a job. I get it. Yeah. But I just think it's like a two-way street, right? Yes, I think the government fumbles some stuff, and I think the government, they try to vote against your interests, like Evelyn said, yes. But I also think it is also some parents out there that are not doing their part. Like, when the whole school supply thing came out, I got outraged, because it's like, wow. Like, your parents really don't care about others but their own. And it's just a sad, cold world that we live in. But that's the sad, cold world that we live in, that parents really, and I get it, care for your child, yes. But like that expression that it takes a village, it does. Because what happens if public school becomes where you have to pay for it? Yeah. Or not at all? Then who's teaching little Susie and little Sammy, right? If they ain't got the education, how in the world are they going to college, right? Because you got to have some test scores to go to college. If you're not teaching your kids and the public school becomes not so public, what happens, right? So it's just like, I think it's like a whole domino effect that's going to happen if we continue to go the route that we're going. Sucks for the kids in Ohio. I hope they find that solution. I really do. Yeah. It is a sad, sad thing, because if you are able to go to private school, you are in, I would say, the top 3%. That's a very low number. That's just how expensive private school is. People rely on public schools because it's free, and then they're able to get the education for free for now. Now, we'll see.
That is for now.
For now, we'll see.
But
so we're gonna turn it to some interesting as our main topic today. You had one on
I'm gonna save it.
You gonna save it? Yeah. We're gonna save it for next week, y'all. Because Evelyn, she read it to me, and I thought it was a very, very funny story. Yeah. But we'll save it for y'all. So you just gotta tune in next week, okay?
So that will wrap this episode up of
What Had Happened Was.
We appreciate y'all for coming on out and sharing with us today.
Y'all follow us, WHHW Radio 1 on Instagram. What Had Happened Was podcast on Facebook. And What Had Happened Was on Swanky 93 and The Heat 94.6.
Anywhere you get your podcast, you can listen to us.
Yes.
And don't forget, I'm your host, Evelyn Letitia.
Yep.
And next to me is my boy, K.L.P. Kennedy and Lucas Patterson.
I like it. I like it. I'm rocking with it.
Ow.
Hey. Hey.
What had happened was...
That'll take us on now for...
Atlanta, live from K.L.P. Studios. Ever wonder what went down behind the scenes of our top stories?
Say what?
Then tune into What Had Happened Was, the only radio station that takes you straight to the source. From coast to coast, tune in now as we dive deep into the stories, the drama, and the moments that shape the culture with
The swanky one, new K.L.P.
and
With your girl, Evelyn Letitia.
live, Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 radio stations, or wherever you get your